four-wheel drive van that I've ever driven. I'll tell you what, the 4th generation Mitsubishi Delica, the L400 Space Gear, folks, the younger brother to the van that you know really well, the Star Wagon L300, this thing is advanced. Extra power under the hood, multiple engine options, super premium drivetrain with all kinds of cool little features, including ABS and an airbag in some models, folks. You're absolutely gonna love this thing. Let's give you a really good on and off-road test drive here right now. Hop on in and I'll tell you why we love this thing so much. And the reason we absolutely love the Mitsubishi Delica Space Gear is because you can drive to the top of the mountain rather than just the parking lot at the bottom. And if you need parts availability in the United States is absolutely incredible because of Diamond Star Motors back in the early 90s. This thing was released in 1994 and has a lot of options involved in it that we didn't get until the early 2000s. We've got an SRS airbag right here. We've got anti-lock brakes right up front. And I'll tell you what, it's incredibly fun to drive off-road. This thing's four-wheel drive system is called the Super Select 4-wheel drive. And I'll tell you what, center locking differential, coilover springs in the back, independent front suspension, upgraded KYB shocks from yours truly, a pneumatic van, and an incredible amount of aftermarket opportunity to add lockers in the front and the rear, folks. This thing has low range 4-wheel drive, high range 4-wheel drive in the transfer case. And if you want to get up to 22 miles to the gallon with a pneumatic tune, put it in 2-wheel drive and cruise all day long. It's so smooth, even at speed. I'm absorbing rocks and bumps like you wouldn't believe, right? And I'm just on the hammer right now. And I wouldn't do this in a Dodge Caravan. Stock ride height, clearing a 30-inch tire, makes this thing so much fun. And you don't have to worry about bottoming out. Pulling out onto some pavement here, folks, so you can get a solid feel of what this turbo diesel 2.8 liter can actually do 0 to 60. It takes about 15 seconds, which is 5 seconds faster than its older brother, the L300. This van stock gets 18 miles to the gallon, and with a pneumatic tune, you can get 22 to 24 at sea level with our economy tune bringing up the boost and having a triple gauge in here to make sure that everything's going just fine. Right now, we're actually approaching 70 miles an hour just since I've been talking. This thing will do 80 miles an hour stock. So don't worry about it. You're gonna keep up with traffic and you're gonna have a good time doing it. So you just joined us for a little bit of a rally section through some bumps, potholes, dips, what have you. And that really showed off what this vehicle can do in high range 4-wheel drive at speed and its ability to absorb that terrain nice and smooth with the coilover springs and independent front suspension. Now we're gonna jump into a section here that's a bit steeper and tighter where you couldn't take something like a Sprinter van, and we're gonna put it into low range 4-wheel drive and show you how this thing can just crawl up a steep hill off-road. Back in the cockpit here, about to head up something that goes into about a 25-degree pitch, continuing into a 30-degree pitch, which is quite steep, and we're gonna need a little extra power. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into 4-wheel low, which is that low lock situation up top there. And so we'll go forward, that's into the high lock, and then down into the right gives you the low lock situation. Of course, I'm in park or neutral for that. Rotating forward, everything on the dash is going to line up and stop blinking for me here in just a second. If it doesn't like to really lock in, I give it a little reverse here, give it a little bit of help, and there it is. Center locking dip engaged. Go through first gear and already in second gear. So now with this pitch, we're not gonna hurt the transmission at all. Low range is really gonna help you enter that power band earlier, right? If I was in high range 4-wheel drive, I'd be lugging, meaning low RPM in first or second gear at this pitch, and it's not good. It puts too much stress on the main drive of the transmission. And so low range is incredibly good for situations like this where you've got uneven terrain that's bouncing you around. I need to be able to maintain 2200 RPM right here and crawl up this stuff. I don't want to be carrying a lot of momentum through here because I'm just going to be bucking and rocking. So, nice and slow, steady pace is what we need here. And that's what we have with the Mitsubishi Super Select. Low range, four-wheel drive, baby. Especially now when we get into the rutted sections, I need to be able to kind of split this area between the wheels here, and to navigate that nice and slow is key to the precision of where I put the wheels. Every little action here is based upon not getting stuck, not rubbing up against the trees and the bushes on the side of the road, of course. What's key to understand about the Mitsubishi Delica Space Gear is that it has a very strong automatic transmission. A lot of people think that off-roading requires a manual transmission, but I beg to differ. A lot of people internationally actually prefer an automatic because you can slowly press the gas and roll onto rocks very slowly. This is called the V4AWD transmission, and this guy actually has 4 gears, right? Overdrive is one of them. If I press that button, that brings me into 3rd gear, and you have the option of coming all the way down into 1st gear, right? Which is nice. And so if I wanted to crawl in that, go nice and slow, and I can bring this thing up to 2,500, 3,000 RPM and be going incredibly slow. I'm going about, 10 kilometers an hour right here, going less than 5 miles an hour. And it feels really good that I have the power where I need it. So going down this little hill right here, I'm in 1st gear or low, and I'm able to just let off the brake completely. All of that was just the engine slowing me down. So you have the power of engine braking in low range 4-wheel drive like an absolute champion. So I'm actually pushing on the throttle right now to maintain a speed. If I let off, as the pitch changes, it's gonna hold me at that speed or even slow me down because of the compression of the diesel engine, right? Compression ratio of this thing's like 22:1, 400 PSI in each cylinder. Therefore, that's gonna really restrict the vehicle from wanting to roll forward and get away from itself. As we go down into this ditch here, it's pretty cool to see how much flexion and articulation the van can actually go through. I mean, just look at how much room there is at full extension there. And when we roll to the other side, how much it can just tuck into the fender well. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for coming along, folks. Rondo with Nomadic Van Life. Absolutely love riding along with you. Let's get after more L400s real soon.